All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I am so excited to be back with all of you today. And joining me is your co-host, Pam Cass. Hello, Pam. How are you?
I'm just giggly because we show up.
That's what we do when we're stressed.
It is. I will say I am that person. If I am nervous, I will spontaneously start to laugh. This happens in haunted corn mazes. This happens on dark streets, in scary movies. This is not that kind of a stress, but we are just giggling because, we have those days where the guest has rescheduled 4,000 times and then they don't show up. and
apparently they rescheduled again in their minds, but failed to tell us about it.
Yes. So we hope that they are okay, that nothing has happened.
Yes.
But we're just kind of giggly because we're like, all right, well, what are we going to talk about? And
I know. Well, what I find funny, and this is a safe space, not calling anyone out on it. What I find comical is that it's like we have our guest and then they also have their team on the same calendar invite. And so how we operate, Pam and I definitely are structured and we like to run off of our calendar. So every recording session is booked on our calendars, right? And so it's a calendar invite goes out to everyone, including our team here at Reignite Resilience. And so they all know when we are recording so that people are in the loop. And I just look at the invite list and I'm like, there are 6 of y'all on this message and no one's showing up. It's
nobody.
Okay.
Not even one to say, oops, we messed up. No.
Yeah, I guess, no. Yeah. You know what? But here we are because it has turned into an opportunity for us to pivot. I mean, what is a podcast about resiliency if we don't get to exhibit it and practice it right in front of our listeners' eyes so that they can see what's happening? So we are going to pivot because we've been teasing you all for the last couple of weeks with a little spoiler in terms of what we had an opportunity to do while we did the Reignite Live 2026 event that took place in Loveland, Colorado. And so today's the day. No more waiting. No more sitting on the edge of your seats to hear about it. I actually had a chance to fill in one of my girlfriends. I haven't talked to her in forever, and she was trying to make her way out to attend the event. And she was like, well, can you just tell me how it was? I said, oh yeah, that's right. Life has happened and I've moved on to the next thing. And so I don't want the same thing to happen for our listeners because all of our listeners filled that room. So Exactly. So Reignite Live, it happened in Loveland, Colorado. It was... Well, it started out as a vision, as it always does. With right? We were doing business planning and started chatting. And we're like, what if we could do what if we could do live episodes? I think it was
Yes, that's kind of where we were starting. And then we were like, gosh, what if we could do a live event where we invited our guests to come and join us? And I think, what you put out in the universe will always come back if it's good and bad. So make sure you're putting out the good stuff. And we put it out there and somebody approached us about donating the space, which we know that the venue is usually the biggest expense. And so we had somebody that was a past guest that donated the space. And then it happened. And it was amazing.
The alignment was perfect because they're part of their business model for 2026. And included, opening up the space for different events and
Mhm.
having the opportunity to connect with a broader range of people. And that aligns with us. We wanted
Yep.
and needed and
Yep.
loved the space anyway. Both
Yep.
Pam and I have had an opportunity to attend and participate in events there. So to host and facilitate an event was truly an honor and a huge undertaking. And so the space
Yes.
was offered. This was Q4 of the prior year,
Yes.
and we said
Yeah.
yes, and we stuck a date on the calendar for. I guess some people would call it mid-January. I'm going to call it early January because I was freaking out.
Yes. Yes.
Because in addition to all of that, one thing that I typically do is unplug the last 2 weeks of the
Mhm.
year. And I don't take appointments. I try not to check email. It is my time to recharge and refocus so that I
Yeah.
can hit the upcoming year hard and hit the ground running. And this year it was actually 3.5 weeks that I took off instead of 2 weeks. And it was 3.5 weeks in our 12-week launch schedule. So
Yeah.
a lot happening behind the scenes and a lot of benefit. I think of realizing that I can lean into other people to do things. And so
Yeah.
we made it happen. But yeah, last year had the opportunity to reach out and we set the date. And yeah, I don't know, Pam, what are your thoughts on it?
Well,
We kind
for,
of just did it. We
for
just did it.
somebody that I don't plan events. I'm not an event planner. What I found out in this whole, undertaking was how much is involved in the actual planning of it. And thank goodness you've done planning before for events. So
I
if
have.
it hadn't been for you, this could have been a hot mess. It was not. And I felt like there wasn't a single hiccup that we had.
No,
And
it was a lovely.
except for, I will say, we ordered we ordered our book.
Okay, well, hold on. I feel that we should just do a little asterisk for everyone that's listening that was in attendance. We
Yes.
apologize. Reach out to us and let us know. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So our intention was to give everyone that attended a copy of our book, The Quiet Gift. And so ordered them weeks in advance because we kind of waited because we needed to know how many we needed to order. So we order 100 and it says it's going to come the day before. So it's like, perfect. It's fabulous. This will be great. And so the day before, it's very early in the morning, I'm having my coffee and I get a little ping from Amazon saying that you've been credited, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait, what? What's that for? And it was for the books. We cannot fulfill your order the day before the event.
Yeah.
Funny story. I get home that night and a box of books gets delivered. And then the next morning, the rest of the books are on my front porch.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I realized that the second box came. I knew. Yeah. It was so funny. Like after the event, Pam, it was maybe 30 minutes after we had just parted. We
Yep.
loaded everything back up in everyone's vehicles. We're leaving the venue. And I get this picture from Pam and it's a box on her front porch. And I'm like, what's happening? What is that?
Yeah, they came.
You know what? That was our hiccup. That was our one hiccup was,
One hiccup.
well, there were little things, but we were resilient in making our way through it. I think that the one hiccup being out of our control speaks volumes, right? And that's okay. It was outside of our control. And you know what? We have books for the next event.
We have books for the next event.
Yes.
And I just gave, I went to a small gathering and they said, bring your favorite book from last year. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I just bring that?
Bring your own, 100%.
That's my favorite book. So everybody got a copy of my book. And it was funny because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women, 6, 7 women there. And we were all supposed to bring books to share. And I was the only one that brought books to share. Ladies, what is this about? So
exactly.
Anyway, you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. And so now they all have the book, and nobody knew that we were going to gift them the book. So it wasn't like anybody was upset at the event. So it worked out the way it was supposed to.
It worked out great.
Yeah.
And here's all of our guests did have the opportunity to take a journal to take notes in
Yes.
during their day because the event did run all day. So we started at 9, doors opened at 8, giving everyone an opportunity to have
Hmm.
coffee and refreshments and start networking. And I think that's the biggest piece of events like this is when you're doing both the introspective work and like the action execution of business planning, goal setting, things like that.
Hmm.
When you are able to surround yourself with like-minded people, just having that sense of community. So the networking started before the event even kicked off, and so everyone had a journal and they were pleased with the journal. And then when we told them that lunch is served, they were like, oh, you're gonna feed us too, this is awesome.
Yes.
We're
Yep.
like, yes, you're welcome. And so it was
Yeah.
just like surprise after surprise. Not like Oprah, like you get a car, but
Yeah,
there was so
that someday we will be at
one
the
day.
place where you get a car, you get
Yes,
a house, you get a
yes,
house,
yes.
you get a vacation. Yeah, it's gonna be that.
It's gonna be perfect. It'll be
It's gonna be
perfect.
that. And
Yeah.
it's funny because during that, we did something called Fireside Chat, which I love that, where Natalie and I were just sitting on the stage, just drinking a cup of coffee and just talking. And then we had questions asked. And we brought up again our Think Week, which
Yes.
comes up so often. And people were like, we want to do a Think Week with you guys. So I think that needs to be something that we put out into the universe, that we plan some sort of a Think Week somewhere, and it's got to be tropical because that's where you and I, both of us, kind of like decompress. And maybe it's Costa Rica. I know that
Yes.
you've kind of gotten a love for that. And so
Yes.
listeners, maybe we'll do something like this. And if you don't know what a Think Week is, it's where Natalie and I get together for a full week, and it is just creative brainstorming. And that's how this birthed the podcast, the book. All of the things great that we've done have really come from those times to unplug and tap into our creative juices. And so I think we need to put that out there.
I think it would be so valuable to offer a Think Week to our listeners and people that are interested in taking some time away. And it's not just all the mind, the cognitive, like planning and putting it on
Mhm.
paper and
Yeah.
grit and grind and do the thing and the hustle. Like those, if you guys haven't picked up on it, that's not how we operate, right?
Mm-mm.
It's definitely making sure that we're looking at the things that we want to achieve and the things that we want to do and give back and experience are from a place of alignment, not from
Mhm.
a place of grind and hustle. And so giving us that time, and then there's always some fun, because what's a week of planning if you don't have some fun?
Yeah.
We've already started brainstorming what it could look like. Like we've envisioned what that event could possibly look like. And so
Yeah.
maybe that's TBD
Well,
for
and maybe what we need is one of our listeners, if you have a event space somewhere tropical
yes.
that you want to partner with us, and we can do something collaboratively like what we did with Rachel Jane with our event in Loveland. That might be something too. So I think I have one person in mind that I think has a place in Costa Rica. So I'm going
We'll,
to put a little pin in
we'll
that.
make sure that we send them a direct link to this recording.
There it is. Our evil plan is working.
Exactly. I have attended a business workshop in a tropical destination, and it's so interesting because we do these business planning or even just business retreats and conferences and things all the time, and it's always business casual or business attire when you attend these conferences. And a few years ago I had a chance to go to one that was in Mexico, and it was on the beach. The venue was on the beach, and we were in a like a typical meeting space, the
Yeah.
ballroom, without the windows and the gray carpet and the gray walls, right? You all know it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
non-conducive to creativity, but
No.
we were in there.
Exactly.
I have to say, the one thing that I remember is just how moist those meeting spaces are.
Oh, there's no creativity happening in a moist space.
Yes. So throw business attire out the window. That's not necessary. Come just ready to enjoy
Yeah.
paradise and
Toes in the
creativity.
sand.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the things. And I mean, and I would love to, I have some people in mind that do somatic breath work. Love to bring people like that on that retreat too, to do that with people. And so, yeah, I think, all right. I think we're talking about it. It's going to
I
have
think
to
this is
happen.
planning. This is live. So this is what Think Week is like, you guys. So
Yeah.
if you're ever wondering, like, what's it like when you're in those rooms, and you all go back and listen to prior episodes when
We've
Pam and I have
talked about
talked about Think Week. We lock
Mhm.
ourselves in a hotel room, or sometimes we'll work by the pool. But when we're in our hotel room, there's Post-it notes all over the walls and notes everywhere, and it's just constant brain dump. And just the process of getting everything out of your system, out of your
Yeah.
head, out of your body, onto
Yeah.
paper, and then actually pulling the tangible, what are you committed to executing? And then you hold yourself accountable, or you hold yourself,
Yeah.
you look for accountability with other people, and then you do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think what I love the most about it, because we don't normally do this, is there's no limit. So we come up with something and it goes on a Post-it note.
Yep.
Even if it is the most ridiculous thing you could imagine,
Yeah.
it's like we're little kids, and it's like, I can be anything I want to be when I grow
Dream
up.
it.
And we just, like, writing a book, like we did that. When we first started, I was like, I'm going to write a book. Podcast. We're going to do a podcast. Like, we don't know about podcasts.
We don't know anything about podcasting.
Yeah. And now we're going to put it out there, because we're going to put it out there as we think that we need to do a TV show.
Yes.
And so we're putting that out there. Anybody that has any connections or anything that would like to see our faces on the TV, look at us.
Tell them to call us. Email
Please
us
call
at
us.
podcast@reigniteresilience.com.
That's kind of funny.
No, you are absolutely correct. We would love to do it. And I think that's probably the secret sauce to Think Week, is that nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
If you can dream it, if you can imagine it, we write it down, we capture it, and then we revisit it.
Yeah. And I think too many times people don't, explore those ideas that come to their head, because their adult self or whatever, their inner critic's like, no, you can't do that. That's not possible. How is that going to happen? Like, no. And so those are what makes it so special, is when you can you quiet that person's not even on the Think Week with us. Like, we leave them back in Colorado, and they don't even come.
Or wherever home is for them.
Wherever home is for them. Wherever we put them, but they are not with us.
You don't necessarily need to stay in Colorado either. You stay wherever
you go, wherever you want to go. It's not going to be with us.
You have to be able to dream it, right? And that's, if you're going to expand and you're going to grow. Like, if you want to stay stagnant and in the same place, and you're content and happy with where you are in life, that's fine as well. And I think be there, right? Like, if that's where you are.
Yeah.
But also, don't be afraid to challenge yourself, because what's interesting, like, as we talk about Think Week, I had an opportunity to unplug and do, like, my business planning Think Week last year, and it didn't go the way that I had planned. I actually had 3.5 days that I had set aside, and at the end of 3.5 days, I had no idea where the days had gone. I had not focused on the things that I had said I was going to focus on. And so I walked away not having a plan. I was like, okay, I'll do my business planning when I'm unplugged for what was going to be 2 weeks. It turned into almost 4 weeks. When I'm unplugged, I'll do my business planning. And I started doing business planning, but I kept hitting a wall. Like, it was just heavy. And what I realized is, like, I'm so content with where I am in life, right? Like, I am pleased in just about every area of my life. I'd love to get into the gym more, right? So there's my one piece. But for the most part, every area of my life, I felt fulfillment, I felt alignment, I felt satisfaction. And so it was hard for me to say, okay, now what, right? Like, because what's required is that you're going to have to go through a little bit of discomfort and get out of that. Like, everything's lovely, and it truly is, not from a sarcastic, it's fine. Like, everything is lovely. Now, how are you going to challenge yourself? And it really has taken me a couple of months to get over that block. And I finally feel like I'm on the other side of that block, where I can again look for, well, where are the spaces that I want to grow? Am I the person that I want to be when I achieve the bigger end of the, life goals that I set? So there's space for everyone.
Oh yeah. There's space for TV. See, no, you didn't.
Yes. Yes.
Space
There's
for,
space for thinking. That wasn't even on my list.
I know.
I'm going
And
to add it because my list is actually
you need
staring
to
at me.
add it. And then there is space for the annual or biannual. No, I think it's like twice a year, maybe.
It is.
Twice a
Yes.
year think weeks for people that want to join us, and we will facilitate it and we will make it fun and give you permission to think outside the box. And
Yes.
I think what works when we do the think weeks together is that we just feed off of each other, and we always are like, yes, let's do
Yes.
that.
Why
And we
not?
have a little bit of fun. We laugh a little bit.
Exactly. Why
But
not? Exactly.
if you all saw our suitcase, like
Oh gosh.
we have a full suitcase of like school supplies. Like it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I have a week-long conference that's coming up, and I am in that space again. I have an entire school suitcase of just supplies.
School
It's just-
supplies.
it's-
Yeah.
it's fine.
Markers, dry erase, all the things. And
The
you're
things that we do. I love it. Well, Reignite Live. Back to that. We're circling
Okay.
back. Put Think Week on your radar. You all listen for it.
Yeah.
I love that we keep giving you teasers. Like, hey, what else is coming? What
Oh,
else are we
yeah.
working on? We always ask our guests, like, what's next? What else?
Absolutely. So now you're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reignite Live.
Yeah. So Natalie, what was your favorite part of the day?
It would not be. I can't say that was my favorite part. I would say my favorite thing about the day
Okay.
is the connection that was made with everyone at their tables.
Yeah.
So for those that weren't able to attend, we had clusters of tables throughout the room. So they basically turned into little cohorts of people that
Yeah.
would mastermind and brainstorm together. And I got so many phone calls after the fact, after the event, that with people that were so grateful that they had the opportunity to connect with other people.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about people that know each other and have like these
No.
deep relationships already. For the most part, these were individuals that met for the first time
Mhm.
during that event, that were opening up and sharing about like their biggest challenges
Yeah.
and the things that are holding them back and what it's holding them back from, what they'd like to achieve and what they'd like to see in life. And you talk about a level of vulnerability. And so what's more fulfilling to me is the connection and relationship that was made with the people that were there. And then I think the reward where I can't, it's not where we can take all of the credit for it, but the fact that we were able to create a space where people felt safe enough
Yes.
to be that vulnerable with each other, that's huge, especially in this
is
day and age,
huge.
because there are not a lot of safe spaces.
Yeah.
There's so much competition and challenge and tearing each other down, and
Yeah.
and divisiveness. And so it was a space where everyone came together collaboratively, and there was just a high level of vulnerability. So that was my favorite takeaway from the entire event.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that. There were the things that people were sharing that were coming up and were able to resonate with, stories we told. That was incredible. And I think it's a tribute to, and I would say it is part of the training and stuff that you and I have been doing, you for way longer than I have, but me for the past year, that coming from your core, you're coming completely authentically who you are. And when you do that, it makes people feel safe. Yeah. And so as us both having been or in leadership positions, the power of coming from your authentic self allows other people to feel the same, and you can create that connection, which attracts people to you. And so I think that's a big part of it. And I think we were able to really exhibit that. And of course, Rachel Jane, who is, I would say, our dojo. What would we call her? She's
absolutely.
She's our dojo. She's our trainer.
No, the dojo is a space. What is it?
What is she?
What's the person called?
Our master.
The dojo is the space, and then the da is the. Okay, that'll come back to me.
Well, it'll come to you, because I mean, she was the one that trained us in it, and so she's like our master.
Yes.
Our sensei.
Is that
Sensei.
your sensei? Yes.
Sensei.
Okay, we can say
Okay,
sensei.
we'll just go with that. If we said that wrong, somebody can correct us through.
She is our guide. She's our teacher.
Yeah.
And the space would be the dojo, right? Like, I mean, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I think
Well,
that's
and
what did
Pam,
it.
yeah. Well, and I think there was vulnerability from Rachel Jane.
Yep.
She shared her own personal stories,
Yeah.
the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
And most of the people in that space didn't know her, and they'd never met her before. And for her to put everything on the table, right? Like, here's where I've been, this is what I've accomplished and achieved, and here's what I want to achieve. And again, for someone who has accomplished and achieved many of their goals in life, to share with a group of strangers what she has in store that's next, and how she's going to do it, and how they can support her in doing so, right? And it's very crystal clear. It's not hidden. We're not, circling around. It's like, here's where I've been, here's where I am right now, this is where I'm going. And if you want to be a part of that journey, here. And if you don't, great. That's okay too. And that's completely fine. And I think our fireside chat was another contributor to creating that space.
I think so too, because we did like what we're doing right now. It was just us talking and then answering questions, and so it made totally. It's so funny because my old perfection self, I had to have notes and scripts and all of the things, and that's exhausting. And that's when you get nervous about speaking. When you are just like, you know what, here are the key things that I want to hit on. And I mean, I just freeballed it when I spoke in the morning, and I shared stories. I don't remember what stories I shared, but I mean, pretty much
find in the book, actually. That's what
a lot of them they can find in the book, but there were some other stories from the later years that no one's ever heard. And I don't even know if I've shared, but it was just kind of fun to just be able to authentically just sit up there and us have a conversation with a room full of people staring at us, and then them feeling comfortable enough to ask us questions. It made it so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's, when you share the true essence of what's happening, right? Like, Pam and I are not talking about things from a stance of theory. And when there are topics or areas that come up in this show that are not things that we've experienced, we bring in other people that have experienced it, right? Like, we're not trying to pretend that we know all that needs to be known about every adversity that there is in life, but we're also not afraid to share the adversities that we've overcome, and sharing how we have overcome those adversities and how resiliency continues to shine through. And this, I think this podcast and making it a live event is a testament to that, right? It's, we didn't know what we were doing. And now we are, as of the recording of this, I want to say 250 plus episodes in, and officially launching season 4 of a podcast, and having amazing sponsors that support us, and phenomenal guests that have been part of the show, and continuing to build that out. We didn't know what the heck we were doing, right?
I called you and I said, you know what we should do as a podcast? And you're like, I think that's on my bucket list. Let's do it. We had no clue as to what the heck. No clue. I was just like, what are we even thinking about?
And have we fumbled? Absolutely. And I'm hoping that, there were times I'll share the most recent. We went over to a new recording platform the beginning of this year, and so that, again, when I'm unplugged, and I'm like, oh, we've got to roll out this new platform, and then that means that we also need to let every guest that has already booked know that there's a new platform, because we're not using the old platform that we were recording on. I don't know anything about this new platform. It works well with the rest of our team. So with the marketing department for the podcast, they were like, this is going to be great. This is awesome. I was like, okay, well then we'll figure it out and we're going to learn it. What no one knows. Pam doesn't even know this. So this is that's going to hear this for the first time on live. So I did the switch to this new platform, and it allows you to host it as well. And so if you are not familiar with the podcast world, someone has to host it. You can't just post it and it gets picked up. And so we had a different platform that we would host our podcast on. And I get back from our trip and I'm like, I usually get notification when a new podcast loads, and I had podcasts loaded for that Monday. And I look at my phone and there's no podcast. I'm like, well, shit, where's the podcast? And I go and open our entire podcast, and every podcast that we've ever recorded is gone. And there's no podcast on that day. So it had pulled the entire podcast off of, I don't know wherever it is in the universe. Luckily, I was like smart enough to download and save it somewhere. And so I am sweating profusely and sprint out of bed. Like, what have I just done? Where are all of our episodes? Forget the episode that's supposed to go today. Like, where's everything else?
Oh
So
my.
I completely lost the entire thing. And so I thought, okay, let me just do a quick little fixie fix. Let's just turn the other one on. Well, listen, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you don't know. There's no just quickly turn the other one back on.
No.
So I attempt to flip the switch, and then everything is missing on the new platform and the old platform. And so I took some time to like reflect and do my morning routine, because clearly I skipped my morning routine. I was like, you know what? Let me do my morning routine. I'm going to do things to be grateful for. I'm going to do my affirmations. It will be fine. And then I'll go back to my computer. No one even knows that the episodes are not there. It will be fine. And I get on the phone with customer support. Thank goodness for lovely customer support. And they're like, we see the error that you made. We're just going to restore it for you. I'm like, I'm so glad you have that button.
Having the button to restore all the things.
And please restore everything. And then I went through the appropriate steps and had it transferred back. But it was just, we came over to a new recording platform. It's not the best hosting platform. No offense, don't take our stuff down. It's not the best hosting platform, so we went back to our old hosting platform. Anyway, we don't know what we're doing.
We just pretend like we do.
Exactly.
You know, it's like actresses. We're not doctors, but we play one on TV.
Exactly. And there's no need for me to call Pam and freak out, because then we'd both be freaked out, and I couldn't stop sweating. So until it was resolved, it has resolved. And
I am so grateful you did not call me. I would have been like, what do we do? Because we've had that happen. Oh gosh, that was when we had somebody that was like doing stuff for us, and they posted like the same recording, like back to, it was a hot situation. So we've had some,
I was going to say, we've learned, right? Like, yeah, you talk about resiliency. Yeah, we hired someone that claimed to be an expert in the space of podcasting world and advertising and promotion. And we trusted them, and we basically handed everything over to them.
And that was a bad thing.
Only for them to fumble.
Yes.
For 4 months.
Yeah. And it cost us a lot of money.
I mean, it was a nightmare. And so finally I was like, enough. We can't do that. Well, I think Pam and I, we got on a call and we're like, done.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and then I sent a letter and
And so, and that was a challenge, right? So it's, and these are the things that are happening behind the scenes all the while we're showing up on screen, just like, hey, welcome back to the episode. There's a circus back behind us, but it's okay.
Don't mind the monkeys out of the cage.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.